Question 10, and the last question on our 2017 paper. Question 10 is worth 6 marks, and let's have a look into it now. Just looking at it, looks like a large essay style question, which is fun. However, only worth 4 marks for part A. So the preamble to it, the planet Mars has a similar day and night cycle to Earth, and a day on Mars lasts for about 24 hours and 40 minutes. Interesting, not really chemistry related, but anyway. The atmospheric pressure on Mars is less than 1%, so a low pressure. The Earth's atmospheric pressure, and over 95% of the atmosphere is carbon dioxide. Water is ice is found in abundance just below the surface in several locations. The average temperature is a chilling negative 55 degrees Celsius, and the surface temperature may reach 20 degrees at best at the equator, as low as negative 153 Celsius at the poles. A company is preparing a proposal to set up a colony on Mars for a government space agency, and a major component of the planning stage is to ensure that energy needed to sustain the colony is available. The colony on Mars is expected to become self-sufficient in energy after just 6 months. The company has identified the need to generate usable energy in the short term and over a long period of time. One suggestion is the use of biofuels to generate usable energy. Biological organisms would be transported from Earth along with equipment needed to generate biogas, bioethanol, and biodiesel. Using the chemistry studied this year and the information above, evaluate the feasibility, so basically the pros and cons, of this suggestion for meeting the energy needs of a colony on Mars. All right, so we're looking at the idea of biofuels, basically pros and cons of biodiesel, bioethanol, and biogas in these conditions. So let's look at what we need to understand. There's a number of go-to factors about biodiesel and biofuels in general that you need to be aware of. And I'm going to look at 4 marks, so I'm going to put 4 dot points down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, just evenly spaced along my writing area. The first thing I'm going to talk about with biofuels, particularly bioethanol and biodiesel, is the fact that they are partially oxidized and therefore they have a lower energy content, which makes it not as good. So therefore, bioethanol and biodiesel are both partially oxidized and have a lower energy content than other fuels, meaning more is required, may not be feasible. So therefore that's the first point, partially oxidized. Other thing we need to be aware of is the fact that we've got very low temperatures, average temperature of negative 55 and maximum temperature of 20. Biodiesel, what you should know is it is very viscous because it has it's a large compound and it has a polar ester group, so therefore it has dipole-dipole bonds falling together. So I'm going to talk about that and saying it's probably not useful to use biodiesel. So biodiesel has a high viscosity and does not flow well in low temperatures. This is due to the polar ester group increasing the intermolecular forces, which are dipole. All right. This also makes it not feasible. Alrighty, there we are. Next up, I'm going to think about what biofuels are in general in comparison to other energy content and other energy sources. when you're looking at biofuels, you need to actually grow it, and it's normally produced from crops that normally have food area. And being the fact that you're setting up a colony on Mars, you probably want to feed the astronauts there as well. So therefore, I'm going to say using biofuels reduces the land that can be used for farming, and thus reduces food production, and therefore is not feasible. Again, I'm linking it back into the feasibility, saying what if that makes it good or bad, and so therefore saying it's not feasible. Feasible, either way. Next up, so next point is the fact, what have I talked about? I've talked about the temperature, I've talked about the obviously what these guys are like as fuels in general. I've talked about the land pressure, I haven't talked about, and the fact that water's ice. I'm going to go talk about the pressure now. So having a very low pressure and limited, well, you can see here that it's 95% carbon dioxide, so we've got limited oxygen supply, I'm guessing limited oxygen supply, compared to Earth. Combustion of these fuels would be problematic. Alrighty, so therefore, basically, you want to have, if we've got a pressure of less than 1% of atmospheric pressure of Earth, we're going to assume the fact that anything that you have in a internal combustion engine, or any type of engine, or any type of thing that uses these fuels, they're going to be really spaced out. So the concentration of these fuels is going to be much lower. So therefore, it might not actually be able to combust in those pressures. So therefore, that's going to be very problematic, having to try and deal with these low pressures. And also the limited oxygen, you're not going to have enough oxygen to actually combust it or fully combust it. You might end up with carbon monoxide, poisoning and killing our space explorers there as well. Other thing to think about is probably water as being ice. So other things here, I might as well just put them down here. Water as ice, not helpful when growing plants, so therefore that doesn't help as well. Also, low temperatures means the enzymes in yeast will have limited function as well. Because, as you should know, enzymes have a optimal temperature, and it certainly is not negative 55 degrees Celsius. So therefore, if you're going to try and produce bioethanol at those temperatures, it just ain't going to happen. So I've got way more than 4 marks of worth of stuff in there, but clearly spelt out with dot points. Generally, examiners will take the first 4, but as long as you're not contradicting yourself, they will look for other things as you're going along as well, as long as what you have written doesn't detract from the rest of the first part thing that you wrote. Last thing I might do here is put an overall. I'm not too sure if they need it, but you want to evaluate, so you want to have it come up with some basic decision at the end of it, and based on all this, you can clearly say that biofuels are not feasible. So that's question 10A. Question 10B. An alternative suggestion is the use of batteries that have an advantage of being recharged using solar energy. State one other advantage of this suggestion. So that one other advantage, key thing other, we can't use the fact that being recharged, but what we can think about is what does a battery have that the biofuels don't, I guess. One thing there is the fact that you should know that batteries or galvanic cells in general, batteries are much more efficient as there is only one energy transformation. Rather than saying only one, I would say less energy transformations. Basically what you're going to do is convert chemical energy directly into electrical energy, and that's going to be probably pretty good. The reason I change it from only one is because that electrical energy may be going in. Battery went flat on my phone again. But anyway, as I was saying, the reason I change it from only one to less energy transformations is because if you're using these batteries in cars and things like that, you're going to have more than one energy transformation because you're not going to try and get electrical energy out of it. You want to get mechanical energy, so therefore you're going to be going from chemical into electrical, then into mechanical. But it's still more efficient in that sense anyway than your combustion engines. Moving on to our next point, we just need to make this better. Why is a battery advantage? Why we have batteries advantages over using the other one, which was our biofuels. So let's just take 1 point from here and then use it in this question here. We wouldn't normally do that, but it kind of makes sense in this case. Let's take the fact that using biofuels reduces the land that can be used for farming. So therefore, if we use batteries, we do not have to limit food growth as land will not be used for fuel production. All right, so basically that should be enough, but realistically any of these could be reused as a response here as well, because you're looking for an advantage of batteries over biofuels, and so many of these, pretty much everything I've written here is a reason why you don't want to use biofuels, and that's a reason why batteries are better in this case. So that's about it really. That's the end of question 10. That's the end of this exam. So hopefully you've enjoyed that. Hopefully it's helped you a little bit. I'll then now go in to start looking at the 2018 exam and going through that. So take care, and I'll keep on doing this.